currently in the midst of the 6th global extinction crisis, and many species around the world are disappearing. Amphibians are one of the groups that are worst hit, with over 30% of species currently threatened around the world. So what are the causes of global amphibian declines? The primary cause of decline is destruction of habitat and fragmentation, which are things that we can easily fix. However, disease and climate change are also emerging as major threats to amphibians around the world. The Environmental Futures Research Institute is working with the Griffith Climate Change Response Program to look at how amphibians are likely to respond to climate change. One of our projects is looking specifically at mountaintop endemics. These are frogs that live only on mountaintops and are at high risk from extinction due to climate change. This is because as the warmer temperatures rise on the mountain, the frog could literally be pushed off the top of the mountain. So to examine this problem is not simple, it's not easy. We have a lot of work to do to try to assess how a frog is likely to respond. The first thing we need to do is find out where the frogs are, and that requires a lot of field work. So one of my PhD students, Marielle, is out in the field searching for frogs constantly, trying to find these very rare mountaintop endemics. Once Marielle finds these frogs, we then need to start looking at why they occur where they do. And the first thing to do that is to make sure that we actually detected them. So detectability and working out our probability of finding a frog is also very important. The next step is to find out what are the environmental conditions at that site which allow the frogs to survive. So we're looking at things like the maximum temperature at which a frog can survive in, the minimum temperatures at which frogs can survive. We do this using experimental labs in the field. The next thing we need to do is look at the actual temperature of the environment in which the frogs occur, and for doing that we need to use temperature loggers, and we put these out in the environment to find out what the temperatures are like. We also need to monitor rainfall and see how that affects the response of frogs to the environment. Once we understand the thermal environment of a frog in its current environment, we can then start to examine how it's likely to respond to climate change. And the best way to do this is to use current climate change scenarios and model how current distributions are likely to change with future global warming.
And this is where the Biodiversity and Climate Change Virtual Laboratory, the BCCVL, can help researchers like Mark. The BCCVL is an online portal which allows researchers to model climate change and biodiversity easily and quickly. The BCCVL allows researchers to run species distribution models, explore how a species relate to its current environment, and how they respond to environmental changes. It allows researchers to project future outcomes using emission scenarios and climate models. What makes the BCCVL unique is that it combines common experiment types, data sets, and processing power all within the cloud. With the BCCVL, you can do your modelling without having to worry about getting access to large data sets or learning complicated statistical programming languages. Coupled with the ever-growing list of data sets, algorithms, and experiments, the BCCVL enables researchers to investigate, explore, and accelerate biodiversity and climate change research. To find out more, visit us at www.bccvl.org.au.